What's going on, fam? It's your boy Sydney and
Tori.
from the Nakid Gardeners channel.
We are about to do something that scares us a lot. I just don't know if this is gonna work.
We hope that what we're about to do, is not a big mistake. If so, we have to pivot and readjust.
You see how they like to come up and they greet us, like as soon as we came up here. This right here we call Kevin's crew, AKA Kevin. Kevin's crew, because Kevin is the original protector, right?
Correct.
And we always knew that Kevin was going to be this group, the Harlequin group. He's supposed to be their protector, and he has been. He's done an excellent job protecting them. We gave him 2 hens, Sexy Black and Whoopi, to be his companions while protecting this group here. And then we got these geese after we hatched out we call them, what do we call them? They're our mutt runner teenagers. We have mutt runner teenagers. They're the first ones that we ever hatched out ourselves. So we have noticed our teenage duck. He's been mating with the Welsh Harlequin crew, which is he likes the older ladies. And Quagmire has been mating our teenager runner ducks. He likes the younger ladies. And it's becoming a problem because the drakes are fighting with each other. And our poor Tomahawk, she's the favorite of both of them.
So I think we have a plan to fix this problem. Hopefully it's not a big mistake.
So here's the thing. We want purebred Welsh Harlequin ducks. And I just revealed to Mister that I really love the Brahma roosters. Kevin, he is my favorite. He is seriously like A1, Mr. Lover, Protector, Gentle Giant. If you have children, Brahmas, they are the gentle giants that are going to be very kind around your children. They're not aggressive roosters at all. And I want to breed that breed. And Kevin, I just have a likeness to him. And so I want to get some light Brahmas. And if I can have within our fencing structure and living structure 2 breeds that work really well, the Welsh Harlequins with the drakes and the hens, and Kevin with more hens, I want to expand that so that we can have some eggs for people to hatch out or chicks for people to have for their homesteads. That's my goal. Now, Kevin has been doing a great job at being very protective over our Welsh Harlequin ducks and of Blanche and Rose. We did get some geese about 3 to 4 weeks after our very first experience hatching out any ducks, which were from our friends at Bland's Promised Ranch. They gave us some eggs of some mixed runner ducks. We put our geese together with those hatch outs that we did. The geese are actually about 3 to 4 weeks younger, but they're so big that they all kind of like grew up together. And it's funny because the geese are very protective of our teenager runner duck flock.
Now here's the plan. We're going to be moving our off-breeds, our teenagers and our non-Welsh Harlequin ducks in this area right next to the pond. We're going to do something that we said we would never do with our animals and allow them to free range.
But not for a week.
Not for a week. We're going to set up them in a Gallagher fence in their coop and let them roam around here for about 3 to 4 days. Then after that, we're going to be able to allow them to go out, to venture off in the pond, to free range, do whatever they need to do.
Now, we have been preparing for this. We have been training them, and we changed our schedule, right?
Correct. So what we've been doing now is, thanks to Mike, the Fit Farmer, he was telling us the best way to get them inside is not to feed them throughout the whole day until it's time to, for them to go in. And which has been actually helping. We have been bucket training them where I'll do a sound and they'll come up to the fence and hear that sound with me going to the bucket, having their scoop ready.
And they are excited.
They
like
are
they
excited.
get worked up.
Yep. So I put some of the feed in one coop and some of the feed in another coop, and they just go right in. And it takes us less than about 10 to 15 minutes just to get them all in.
Because with this group right now, even though they're all together, they're separate. Like they're going into separate coops every night.
Yeah.
And they ignore each other during the day, except for the drakes interested in each other's girls.
Yeah. Now there's another issue we might have is with Blanche and Rose. Now, even though they are the older of the crew, they pretty much tend to themselves and they're not used to being with this flock. However, this is not their first time being introduced with the new flock, but even though they kind of already know and familiar with this other flock.
And what I feel bad about is that Blanche and Rose, they prefer being with the Welsh Harlequins. Like that's who they chose to hang out with. They chose them, but they're not Welsh Harlequins.
No.
And the objective is to have purebred Welsh Harlequins. I'm kind of worried that because we're going to move Blanche and Rose in with these junior teenager ducks.
With the geese.
And the geese protect the teenagers, so I'm kind of worried about that. But Blanche and Rose are highly motivated by food.
Yes.
Very.
Very much involved with the food.
And they've been part of the training because we've trained both sets the same way, like the same commands. I come through and I like clap my hands and they respond to that sound, right?
Correct. And another issue what we have is the wild ducks. Now with the wild ducks, there's probably about five.
No, there's six. There's six
five
wild
to
ducks.
Six drakes.
1 girl, 5 boys.
Yes. So, and then with Tomahawk, she's the drake's favorite.
Tomahawk already has 2 boys pulling her leg.
And now we got to worry about the other female hens being attacked by these other drakes. So hopefully these geese will be able to protect them. Now another issue is when we had the ducks surrounded by our pond, the first night it was hard to get these ducks off of the pond.
They love the pond so much.
Yes.
They don't want to listen.
So that is going to be an issue off its own right there. I think I might have a plan for that. If not, but what we did previously is we took some long temporary fencing and we got on one side and I got on the other side, and we just took that fence to kind of push the ducks into the pen. I'm not sure if that's going to work now, but we'll see. So I might have 2 plans. We'll see how that is.
That's going to be a test on its own.
Yeah. And then once we let them out on here, we're got to worry about land predators because, like I said, we do have some wild dogs and some wild coyotes. Even though they don't come out during the day, and they're going to be the ducks and the geese are going to be enclosed in the fence as the first line of defense, and the coop as the second line of defense. So hopefully that won't allow them to get attacked.
And recently we installed a chicken run door on the coop that these guys are in. And initially we were just opening it every day and every night. And we were actually afraid that the geese wouldn't figure out, or they were too big to go in and out of it. But they're very motivated to get out in the morning.
Yeah.
And so they actually have been doing it, and it's been so hot that they've been motivated to go into it to get some shade. And that's the only place that we ever put food or water that is clean and refreshed. And so the geese are finally like going in and out of the chicken run door, and it's automated. So that is something that's working in our favor.
So if this all works out, it's going to be a win-win because we're going to be able to have our pure breed Welsh Harlequin ducks. We're going to have Mrs. Nakid Gardener pure breed light Brahmas, and we'll be able to have our consuming duck eggs compared to our hatching duck eggs. So I think it's going to be a win-win. Another thing I have a fear of what could be at stake is our garden. However, Mrs. Nakid Garden doesn't think that they will damage the garden. If anything, they will help control the pest problems.
That's what I've seen the wild ducks do. The very few times that they've gone into our garden, it's been more about a grub hunt. That's not something I'm as concerned about. What I am concerned about is that these ducks associate him with snacks And so they get all excited when they see him. And I feel like, I mean, the wild ducks are already waiting right outside of our porch very comfortably, and we don't even give them snacks. These ducks, they associate us with snacks. So I'm afraid that they're gonna see us, especially the geese.
Yeah.
You guys like to argue face to face. Y'all talk every morning. I'm afraid that they're going to be greeting us right outside of our door and pooping everywhere.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. The amount of unwanted poop, poultry poop, around our front porch area and our my shop underpass. So
I'm concerned about that because that's also an area that we do our processing classes, and I don't want them interrupting. We need to figure out what we're going to do if that does become a problem. We're not going to be releasing the ducks immediately. Our plans is to set up the fencing in the area that we kind of want them to migrate and have as their home base. And so we're going to set up the fencing. Thank goodness we just had some rain, so hopefully it helped us with getting the stakes into the ground a little bit easier. But we are going to set up that fencing. We're gonna move the birds over here, and then we're gonna let them kind of get used to this area this week before we open a section of the gate. Well, that did not go exactly as planned. I know that that was a big workout for him, like moving it. We never move him that far, and that is our heaviest Siskovish.
that was our first one.
Yeah, that was the first one we built that I turned into our nursery pen. That's what it was supposed to be because it's so heavy. But then we got Rose and we got Blanche and we brought them over. And mind you, these ducks have been in the same pen during the day running around together, and we put them in there and the geese became savages, and the other ducks joined in and they were just picking at them, and it was really hard for me to watch that. It just felt like they were just being ganged up on. So we put them in a little dog crate just temporarily. It's actually the neighbor that gave them to us in the same crate that we got them in. And we're just gonna do that tonight and kind of see if things soothe over, because it's just gonna be them in the space, and just kind of watch them the next 2 days before we release them.
So they're going to be in there for a few days, and then we're going to wind up allowing them to free range. Now, there are some reasons why we don't free range, and you might have the same reason. We did a video about that. We'll put that off to the side and also in the description down below. Until the next video, let's grow together.